Um, Before we begin, I would like to express my gratitude to TLRA team for creating this platform and to bring in the educators together from different parts of the world. Thank you for that. Warm welcome to everyone for this session. I understand it's not easy to log in after a full working day, that too on a weekend and on a special day like Valentine's Day. So, thank you for choosing to be here. It needs a lot of commitment, energy, and intention. I truly appreciate the effort each one of you have made. Uh, I understand that you all have joined from different region. So let me go slowly and clearly. In case if you have to pause me, please feel comfortable to do so at any point of the time. Okay. Hope is everything okay? I couldn't see any of you. All the cameras are turned off. If it is possible for you to sit with your cameras turned on, it will be great to converse with you, looking at you. Thank you. Thank you for that response. Okay, let's step into today's session. Inner shift behind effective teaching, NLP in action. So, today is not going to be a workshop, it's not going to be a strategy session. I'm not going to give you 10 classroom hacks to be carried away with you or a toolkit, but then what is it all about? What are we going to take back? Anywhere, any place, if you have to convey anything, you can use the chat. So, yes, pause. I am not going to give you strategies. I am not going to give you tools. Rather, I invite you all to pause for something deeper, to pause for a transformation. Because most of the time, the change that we expect to happen within us or with the people around, it can be your family members, it can be your students, it can be your colleagues, it can be anybody. It does not happen when we try to fix more, but the change happens when we try to notice more. So today is going to be something deeper where you become aware of things around you and inside you. S- Let it let it be slow down. Let us reflect on what we are doing all these days. Before we go further, let me briefly introduce about myself. I am Mehala Rajendran, a PYP educator with 12 years of experience in IB framework. I'm also a trainer who trains and empowers educator across different platforms. I also completed my NLP practitioner certification with NF NLP USA. But more than a certification, what really matters is NLP has transformed me in person. It has it has changed the way I see myself. It has changed the way I see people around. It has changed the way I communicate. It has changed the way I respond. And all these changes led to an inner shift, which I'm talking about now. And that inner shift was the real transformation. And that real change and real transformation is all NLP is about. For many of you here, NLP must be a new term. NLP, which is neuro linguistic programming. But it's perfectly okay. You don't have to worry. In next 1 hour, you will experience what it means. So, for me, NLP was a real transformation. And tonight, I want all of you to experience a glimpse of it in the session. So, what this hour really is about. It's not always collecting strategies, it is something much more deeper. We are going to look into the invisible culture that we have already created, we are creating, and we are going to create without even realizing it within us, in the classroom, in our relationship. Trust me, this session about NLP in action is not only about teaching. Most of the place where we are going to discuss about the real life scenarios, you would definitely be able to make a personal connection because this 1 hour is all about getting awareness, being aware of our invisible culture, the awareness of the emotional space that we create wherever we are, being at home or at school or within our own mind. So, this session expects something simple yet powerful. Be present, stay aware, and reflect honest. And that's when the magic of inner shift happens. All good so far? Thank you. Thank you for the response. Yes. As educators, there are certain things that we experience almost every day, but we rarely pause, question them. And here are few. All of us set rules in our classroom. And why does the same rule feel safe in one classroom and unsafe in another? To give an example, imagine that you have set a rule or insist the learners to speak in English. In one classroom, the learners feel encouraged, confident, and structured, whereas in another classroom, they feel afraid, anxious of making mistakes. It's the same rule, but different emotional response. Being educators with years of experience, we must have definitely identified some strategy to regulate our students' behavior in the class or to work on their performance. Have we ever wondered why does the same strategy work for one child and fail for another? To make it simple, a practice of reading aloud in front of all. One child takes it as an opportunity and becomes confident, whereas another child shuts down. It's the same strategy, different internal experience. I believe all of us were able to make connection. And most importantly, why do we correct behavior and still see it repeats? This happens every day. You keep correcting certain behavior of the students, still see it repeats. You say, stop interrupting. And the next day, it continues. You explain, you remind, and you correct, but still it repeats. So, have you ever experienced such situation? If you have, type yes in the chat just to keep you all interactive. and alert.
Some are saying always.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
could see that. Yeah. Thank
yeah.
you. Yes. How about others? Have you experienced such situation? Yes, for those who have said always and yes, often. Yes, we all have experienced such situation almost every day, and we often move on. We may handle the situation, but we rarely pause to ask, why is it really happening this way? And that pause is really powerful. And that pause is what we are talking about. And we are going to become aware of. I would like to share a short story. Hope all of us would enjoy listening to stories. Yes? Okay. Thank you. Yes. Okay. So, this is a story about a young businessman who has everything in this world. He has wealth, power, fame, everything that a human should have. But there is this one problem that he was struggling with. He has a chronic eye pain, a severe eye pain, which is constantly troubling him. No matter he consulted the best doctors, he visited the best hospitals, and he got the best treatment. But nothing worked. And the doctors said, there's no way, you will have to learn to live with this pain forever. And this man once met one of his childhood friend on a way, and during their conversation, he shared about his struggle. And his friend suggested him to visit a wise Guruji who stays nearby. This businessman was not that convinced, but still, he wanted to give it a try because he was so desperate to get rid of this pain. And he met the Guruji. He explained everything. The Guruji listened carefully and he suggested something unusual. He told the businessman to notice only green things for the next 1 month. He was puzzled. How could this cure his problem when the best treatments could not? But yes, he agreed to follow. After a month, the Guruji wanted to pay a visit. When he reached this young man's home, he was astonished to see the security guard with green uniform, the walls painted green, the curtains green, the carpets green, and the furniture's green. Everything around was green. And this young man came running. He was so excited and pleased to welcome the Guruji, and he thanked him for curing his problem. Guruji smiled gently and said, I'm glad I'm glad that your problem is cured. But then I have this one question. Instead of changing the entire world around you green, you could have just changed the lens of your glasses green. I'm giving a pause here for you to take in the story, think, and reflect. What message does this convey? You can try. What message does the story convey? I may not see you all, but we'll make this interactive with the chat.
Mm. Can you
Yes.
read it? You can read it,
Don't focus.
Megha, right? Yeah. Go ahead.
Don't focus on problem. Focus on solution. So the teacher need to change her perspective instead of blaming. Before correcting our learners, we should reflect back as facilitators and check, is there anything we need to change? Perfect. Yes, as you all said, something's. Oh, sorry, that's not a response for this. Okay, thank you for those who have responded. Yes, the story says many of the time, no, most of the time, we wanted to repaint our world. We wanted the change in our classroom, in our students. We wanted people around us to change, being it family members or friends, relatives, colleagues, leads, their behavior, the systems, policies. But the question is, what are we looking at? How are we seeing at things? What lens am I wearing? That may not be the whole truth. Yeah. With this thought in mind, let's get into some scenarios and reflect on what we usually do. We see a student who lies repeatedly. And what do we usually do? We warn them, we explain the consequences, but still nothing changes. We see a student shuts down. What do? We push, we might label him as lazy or unprepared, but nothing changes. We see a teacher who raises her voice to get the control of her class. It may work for a moment, but does it work long term? So, what do we usually do when the behaviors repeat? Just think of some scenarios at your own classroom and reflect, what do you usually do when a behavior repeat? How do you react when a behavior repeat? Just what comes instantly to you, you can type in the chat. Change of lens, have positive mindset, change your view. Yes. What do we usually do when the behaviors repeat in our classroom? Something change partners, recap of the consequences for the kids. And the real question here is, even when you recap the consequences, understanding the change that takes place in the classroom. Yes. Does this create a long lasting change? I ask students to confess and continuously facilitate him to change. These are some things we usually try in our classroom when the behaviors repeat. I go to the child and find out what he or she could be struggling with. That's good. But most often, when such behaviors repeat frequently, we often react on the surface level. We often look at the behavior, right? And we react to such behaviors. And that reaction does not bring in any change. So, here, as the response we got, the last response that we got, we should look at the behavior with a different lens. We are most of the time looking at the behavior as a problem. Here, behavior is not the problem. Behavior is the signal that we get from the students. When a child resists, they actually don't resist you. They are often trying to protect something inside themselves. And in NLP, we strongly believe in one statement, and that is every action has a positive intention behind. Something powerful which can be applicable in the classroom or at any situation or with any person. I repeat, every behavior or action have a positive intention behind. Even though the behavior looks negative, it will definitely have a positive intention. A child who lies repeatedly maybe tries to protect herself from a shame. A child who shuts down maybe try to protect himself from a failure. A child who argues maybe tries to protect him or her from a sense of control. They are not fighting you. They are not fighting the teacher or the people in front of them. They are fighting with the inner fear. And with the right lens, when you see, you will notice the meaning behind the behavior and the message behind the behavior. As educators, we are responsible to notice the signal and not only to manage the behavior. How many of you agree? How many of you are able to resonate this? Thank you. How can we correct? That's where we are leading to. But when such discussion comes, there are few who always thinks, or there are few who always says, I'm here for teaching. I'm just here to complete my content. I don't have time to analyze every single emotion. There are educators who have this mindset as well, and it is not possible, is what we usually say when it comes to correcting the behavior of the students for a long term. But the truth is, learning is rarely blocked by the lack of content. Knowledge today is everywhere. You can learn any content through Google. You can watch any lesson online. But the transformation not depends on what you teach, how much information you give, but it purely depends on the space through which it enters. Learning always flows through the culture we build, the connection we create, and the way we communicate. It's not just about what enters inside, but how it enters. No matter how powerful the content is, if the space feels unsafe, learning will not land. And that's why in a classroom or in our surrounding, this culture, connection, and communication is very powerful than the knowledge. So yes, let me take you to something deeper. I am actually handling grade 3, and at the beginning of the year, when a student entered my class, previous year teacher gave me feedback about a student. She pointed out one student and said, this student was disobedient. He is really naughty. He lies often and he is not innocent. When I see the student in my class, I saw him as matured, active participant, energetic, and intelligent. Even you must have experienced something like this. Why do two teachers see the same child differently? And it's not only about the students and teacher relationship. People doesn't see a person in the same way. The opinion differs, feedback differs. Why does feedback motivate one child and shuts down another? What sits beneath all of this? These are not something, something unusual that happens in your life. All of us must have experienced either in the classroom or in our real life. What things is under these thought? What is beneath? I usually do not take feedback from teachers. I treat every student as a unique child. If we all have this practice, that's perfect. We expect this to be in practice, but not everybody does this. Perception of the teacher. Any other response? Any other prediction on what lies beneath this different opinion of people on students? Okay, it's not perception, maybe in a way, but that perception is shaped by something else, which is much more deeper, and that's belief. It's not a new word to any of us. It's the belief that each one of us have. When we talk about belief, I want all of you to experience something. I know all of your cameras are turned off, but I want all of you to sit with your eyes closed. Though I couldn't see you, I trust all of you would follow the instruction because you can truly experience it when you follow the instruction. Can I request all of you to sit with your eyes closed? I believe we are. Sit comfortably, close your eyes, stretch your palm in front of you. Imagine I place a yellow, ripe lemon on your palm. Just observe it. It's fresh, juicy, and slightly soft. Now take it closer to your nose and inhale the strong citrus smell of the lemon. Now take a knife, cut the lemon into two halves. Notice the juice drip down Lift one half and take a big bite of it. Let the taste hit your tongue. Sharp, tangy, and sour. Gently open your eyes. How many of you felt your mouth water? I definitely need a response. How many of you felt your mouth water? How many of you have squeezed your eyes? How many of you have tightened your lips? Almost, yes, almost everyone. I did. Yeah. Did we actually had lemon on our palm? No. Then why did your body reacted? I feel like reaching out for a lemon now. So yes, we did not have lemon in our hand, and all of us are adults. We know we are sitting in a class and we don't have in a session and we don't have lemon. But still our body reacted. Why? Why do you think it is? Assumption? Why do you think your body reacted? It's the same word that I have told. Because our imagination is a wonderful way to develop the sense. Feeling positive? It's the same word that I have told you before on what is beneath all those feedback. It's our belief. Your body responded to what you have believed and not what was real. Your nervous system does not wait for the reality, it just responds to perception. It just responds to the perception which is shaped by the belief due to instructions feeding to brain. And that instruction, yes, that's where our belief comes in. And this is what exactly happens in your classroom. This is what exactly happens in our life. In every situation that we undergo, in every situation that we respond. A child does not respond to the situation. A child does not respond to, a child does not respond, a teacher does not respond to situation. And you as a person does not respond to situation. Your family members does not, your leaders does not, your colleagues does not. They does not respond to situation. They react to what they believe about the situation. Are we able to make connection of any situation that you have reacted? Just take a pause because this pause is powerful. Take a pause and just recall a situation where you have reacted not to the situation but to the belief that you had about the situation. Are we able to? The belief which is strong creates the emotion, and that emotion drives your behavior, and that behavior creates the results. NLP says, last Friday, one of it, does that mean that I just have to change my belief about a child? Exactly. That's what NLP is trying to do. It rewires the neuron connection. That's what it does. These beliefs are deeply connected with filters, our inner filters that all of us have, an invisible filter. In a fraction of second, everything happens. The way we communicate, the way we look at the situation, the way we make decision, the way we see things, everything happens with this belief, which is deeply connected to the filters, which NLP strongly believes in. And why do we behave this way? Why do we react this way? Because most of us are not aware of these filters. And when we are not aware of the filters, our inner filters, we react to the situation automatically and not respond to it consciously. Let's thought, bring this understanding into a real moment in a classroom. In a read aloud session, if you see a child not paying attention, what did the teacher notice here? Is it the behavior or the meaning behind the behavior? What do we usually do when you find a child not paying attention to your reading aloud session? How would you react? Behavior. We usually look at the behavior and we create a meaning from our own belief that student must be disinterested. But actually, what if the meaning behind the behavior was a fear of being called out to read? Or what if the meaning behind the behavior was as simple as a physical need or a nature call? Most of the time, we only look at the behavior and not the signal behind the behavior, as he may not be understanding what you are reading. Yes, all these are the meaning that we make the behavior based on our beliefs. If the teacher asks questions a student and if the student doesn't respond, what did the teacher see here? Just the behavior as lack of confidence or lack of preparation or the meaning behind the behavior. Usually we address this, thank you. Yes, usually we address this as lack of confidence or lack of preparation. But what if the meaning behind the behavior was a fear of being judged? Without addressing this signal, without addressing the meaning behind the behavior, obviously the behavior repeats. You try to bring in the attention just by calling out the student, just by repeating the information, just by telling him you can be confident or you can, why didn't you prepare, will be our response or reaction to the student immediately. But without addressing this meaning behind the behavior, definitely the behavior repeats. No rules work, no strategies work, it repeats. And as educators, we keep struggling. So, yes, we should ask with what lens are we looking at these behaviors and situations? Is participation only speaking? In both those situations, the behavior was visible, but the meaning was invisible. I remember my childhood days. I was like that. And yes, so you can personally connect. That was a response in the chat. So you could personally connect what was your inner fear, right? And that must definitely not be the one what the teachers have believed about you. As I said, throughout the session, you will be able to make a lot of personal connection as well. It's not only about teaching. Okay. Just observe the picture on the screen, and when you look at this image, what comes to your mind about this? Just type in the chat. What one thing that comes to your mind when you look at this image? And for this, I definitely need response. Dog running, dog running for food, happiness, a curious dog running towards something, freedom, a dog playing happily, a pet running to his master, a dog is running happily, dog running with confidence and full energy, dog found something favorite, again, freedom. All of us are so positive. A confident dog running for something or seen his master, hungry to eat, chasing. Yes. So one picture, so many perspectives. That's what it says all about. So there is no clue in the picture. Was there any instruction given? Was there any clue? Did I change the picture? It was just one simple picture of a dog running. But look at the meaning. And here I could see all positive response. But if any of you must have had a, a, a bad experience with a dog, if you have got a dog bite, definitely you would have looked at the, yeah, I also got a response chasing. Yes. So where is it coming from? Is it from the picture? It's the same picture, but it is coming from our internal story. So our internal story speaks faster than the logic. Beliefs and experiences, yes. And these beliefs and experiences are closely connected to the filters, and these filters and these beliefs act really fast and than the logic. So without getting awareness of these beliefs and our internal filters, the inner shift doesn't happen, the transformation doesn't happen, the change doesn't happen. More beliefs, pure experience, and personal opinions. Exactly, ma'am. That's what it is. You see, dogs are dangerous. You can could have felt dogs can't be trusted. That's a scary dog. Loyal, lovable, so cute, and it's purely based on our inner story. Yes. Now, as somebody asked at the beginning, so what do we do about it? How do we change? These beliefs are deeply rooted. Um, we start creating beliefs from the age of 7. So these beliefs are built over years. Now, what do we do with these beliefs? Something that are deeply rooted. One happy news is these beliefs are not permanent. It can be uprooted, but it's not so easy. It needs awareness, proper tools and techniques be followed to uproot these beliefs. And when that happens, we can transform our limited belief into an empowering belief. We can shift our internal filters, and it helps us respond consciously and not automatically. And that is where NLP plays a powerful role. There are certain scientific proved techniques with which we can uproot our inner belief. And why is it not shared? Because all those NLP techniques or the awareness cannot be taught. It has to be experienced. It has to be one on one experience. It has to be um, applied personally. And that's where the real transformation happens. This is a small video. I want all of you to just watch. Just show thumbs up if you could hear and see the video when I share.
I have a lot of memories from when I was a child. One that's always stuck out to me, though, was when I was about 10 years old. And
Were you able to hear the sound? I'll have to resume playing it. Yes, thank you.
I was in school, and I struggled. And I didn't struggle with English, math, or science. I struggled holding still. And I would try to listen and focus and process ideas, but I couldn't help myself. And to be honest, I would sit there and then I would just start tapping. And the students in the class would look at me and they'd say, "Hey, stop tapping." A lot of the time, I didn't even realize I was doing it. And then eventually even the teachers got after me and they would yell at me and they'd say, "Clint, you have to stop tapping." It got so bad that I got sent to the principal's office for tapping. And he said to me, "Okay, maybe when you go back to class, just try sitting on your hands." And so I did. I went back to class, and when I felt myself starting to tap, I did this. I sat on my hands. And that worked for about 5 seconds. One time I was tapping in class, and my teacher, Mr. Jensen, he looked at me and he yelled. And he said, "Clint, stay after class." And I thought to myself, this is it. I am done. Now, I've always been the type of person that believes that a single moment in time can change a person's life. And this was one of those moments for me, and I will never forget it. And so I was sitting there with Mr. Jensen and an empty classroom. And he walked past me and he sat next to his desk and he said, "Clint, come here. I want to talk to you." And as he looked me right in the eye, he said, "Now, I need you to know something. You're not in trouble. But I do have just one question that I have to ask you." And he asked, he said, "Have you ever thought about playing the drums?" And in that moment, Mr. Jensen, he leaned back and he opened the top drawer of his desk. And he reached in and he pulled out my very first pair of drumsticks. And he held them in his hands and he looked at me and he said, "Hey, Clint, you're not a problem. I think you're a drummer." From that moment on, I've never put those sticks down. I've toured, recorded, and played drums all over the world. My whole college education was paid for with drumsticks in my hand. Just because of a single moment in time when somebody believed in me and he saw something in me that I didn't even see within myself. And from that moment, I learned that there's a difference between being the best in the world and being the best for the world. I have a
How was it? And that was not a limited belief of teacher on a student. It was an empowering belief. The lens through which he saw the student gave a breakthrough. We often differentiate, s- yes, as educators, we must watch such truly inspiring videos, to keep us on track and to remind us that we have a true responsibility in our hands. We have young minds whose future is in our hand. Thank you. Thank you for those response. Yes. So can you share the link of the video? Definitely, I would share in the chat. It's actually it's a downloaded video, but I'll definitely share the video. Time to look back. Inspiring. Yes. We often differentiate the learners in our classroom. If you see such student in your class, we will always differentiate the learners. But the truth is, we believe that we differentiate them, saying visible learner, auditory learner, they can or they can't, slow or fast. But actually, are we differentiating them? No, we are labeling them. They are not descriptors, they are identities, and your identities shape the performance. So, as educators, we should be very much aware of what are you creating in class, how are you looking at students in your class. What if the key to empower every learner isn't in fixing them, but in upgrading the way we see and respond to them? You can also create somebody like what we saw in the video. Yes. So every learner is just waiting for the right trigger. And it definitely may not happen at their home at this busy world with busy parents. So it's with educators, we have the responsibility. We are carrying the blueprint for their transformation. When you really learn how to shift beliefs, how to shift and regulate your inner state and influence the emotional space or the climate wherever you go, this is where belief plus behavior creates a breakthrough. When belief shifts, behavior shifts, and everything else shifts. So, in this 1 hour, we have got some idea about belief, the lens that we'll have to look at students, the inner shift, which is very important, the awareness of being an educator when we look at students, or when we look at people. As I earlier said, it's not only about teaching, it's about how you see people. You can very well connect all those that we have discussed, all those that we have paused and reflected in your real life with any people whom you met or whom you meet. Yes. So if you feel something has resonated with you in today's session, something has made you look at a situation differently, and if it really made you pause, you can continue your journey with